Hey guys, I'm back with a new video and I'm just so glad to finally be back and able to make a new video for you guys. I appreciate everybody that has been commenting on my old videos, subscribing to my channel even though I haven't posted anything in a few months, and the people that found my Instagram and actually reached out to me with a few questions on about my move to LA. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for all your support, and I pray that you continue to support me and my channel. So today I wanted to talk about my homeless story. Yep, your girl was homeless. So I know my last video I was talking about my what was I about to say? This video I was talking about my move to LA and giving you tips on moving to LA. And I spoke on how my transition was so simple and so smooth. Well, I guess God was like, you know what? You had an easy transition, so I'm gonna make this a little bit bumpy for you. So in August, my lease was up for my apartment, and I tried so hard to find a new apartment. The fact that I have a dog kind of made it hard for me to find an apartment that would accept him. The reason why it was easier for me to have my dog in the apartment I was in at the moment was because I had a pet-friendly rental place. But I didn't want to have roommates anymore, and I decided to live on my own. So I had to, find places that were more affordable for me, but those places that were affordable didn't allow pets. So it was just like, okay, what am I gonna do? So a lot of people were just telling me, well, get rid of your dog, and I'm just like, no, I've had him for so long. So I wasn't willing to get rid of my dog. I just was trying to find out ways where I can still, be able to live here and afford rent at a apartment and be able to keep my dog. So I didn't want to have roommates anymore, and it kind of made it difficult for me. Had I, decided to still go with having roommates, I probably wouldn't have gotten into the predicament that I was in. But I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I feel like for me to be in my creative space, for me to chase after my dreams for acting, and for me to be a writer, just a creator, I need to have my own space. I didn't feel like I could thrive in there with roommates. I felt like I got distracted a lot. My roommates were real cool, so sometimes I would sit there and talk to them for hours. I just get distracted from the things that I, should have been doing. So I was looking for a place to live, and it was just very hard for me, and I just struggled so much. So my lease ended on like August 28th or something like that. And August 28th came, and I didn't get an apartment. I couldn't find one. Everybody just kept denying me, whether it was because of my dog or the fact that I'm a server, so like my income isn't really something that they can track or see if it's consistent enough. So they didn't really trust to rent to me because they were afraid that I wasn't going to be able to pay rent. Even if I thought it was weird because some of those places would be like studios for like $850, and I was already paying $850 at the place that I was living at prior. So it's like, if I can pay rent here, of course I can pay rent there. But whatever, everything happens, and I feel like God, wanted to put me through this situation to build my character, to build me up for something better that He has planned for me. So I didn't have a place to go, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. A few people at my church offered their place to me, which was so amazing that God worked through them. I had a few people, that prayed with me, and I ended up staying with my old roommate, the one that was like, oh, I don't want roommates anymore, I want to do my own thing. Look at God. I ended up staying with my roommate because he was able to find a place, and He offered me to stay with him, and I stayed there for 11 days. It's a tough 11 days. It was very humbling because I've always been that person that used my place as a shelter for other people, and so many people have slept on my couch, and I've let them stay there, stay at my place before until they were able to get on their feet or whatever the case was. But to be that person sleeping in somebody's living room, I just never thought that would be me. I never thought I would be spending so many days in my car. And sometimes I would take naps in my car, and I would just spend so much time in my car just reflecting on everything and just try to be such, I don't know, I would try to find positive things about the situation I was in. It was hard to have to just really not have a place to call home, have to live out of my suitcase, and have to, it just was hard. And then I was just at the point where I trusted that God was going to make a way. At the same time, my human flesh would just be anxious. And that's why in the Bible it says it's not good for us to be anxious, because when we are anxious, we do some desperate things that cause us to dig a deeper hole than what we're already in. We're already at our lowest. How much lower can you get? Allow God to, lift you out of that hole. Allow him to just be able to be that crutch that you need, instead of trying to take everything in our own hands. And I'm speaking to myself when I say this, because I got to my lowest and I just continued to get even lower to low, because I decided to be anxious and desperate. And basically, while I was living with my old roommate / friend, I got a phone call from my mom, and she called me and was like, "Oh, you gotta get up, hurry up. There's this place I want you to go check out." Every day I was looking at different apartments and stuff. Every day I was getting denied. I was out there constantly looking for an apartment. Some people doubted that I really was out there looking as hard as I said I was. When I say I put over probably $300 worth of application fees out there, I put so much money into application fees, it was ridiculous. But that's what desperation does to you. That's why we're supposed to be waiting on God. Anyways, it gets worse than that, because yes, I spent so much money on application fees, but had I been waiting on God, I would have not have to spend any money. Or I probably would have spent some money maybe. But it would have been on the right place. It would have been on the right apartment. And I would have been good instead of wasting all this money. But anyway, so I wake up, my mom calls me. She's just like, "You have to go check out this apartment place. I just spoke to the manager. They have a place available for you. Give them a call at this number. Blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, "Mom, I have a commercial shoot to do today. I really don't have the time to do it." But at the same time, I was like, you know what? This is a priority to me, so I'm going to try to make time. So I rushed, took a shower, got dressed as soon as possible, and ran off to this apartment place that my mom was telling me about. So I went there, and the person wasn't answering the phone. I called them 1,000 times. I was waiting for them. They weren't answering. So I was just like, okay, what's going on? This is weird. So I told my mom this was so unprofessional. I was just like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I'm going to just go to this commercial shoot. So my mom was like, wait a little bit longer. I spoke to her maybe she's in a meeting or something. So I was just trusting my mom. So I took her word for it. She's the person I go to with everything. God has blessed me with an angel on earth, and that's my mom. So I'm really, truly grateful for her. But yeah, so I waited, and the lady finally called me back. I went to go check out the apartment that she said was vacant, and it was locked. So she was like, oh, I think, it's already rented out. It was all this crazy mess. So I was just like, okay. So I came out here for no reason. It's already rented. Okay. She was like, oh, well, I have another apartment building that has a vacant spot open for you. So if you want to go check that out, you can go check it out. So I went to the other apartment building. I saw this vacant apartment. I was like, oh, it looks nice. The lady was like, well, she was just telling me about the apartment and that if I wanted it, I have to put, a down payment on it. So I gave her money for the apartment plus my rental application, and I had to hurry up and go to the commercial shoot. I was sitting there thinking, and I was just like, something doesn't feel right about that move that I just made. Like, it just seemed too good to be true. That I would just, walk into the apartment that I want, it's in the area that I want to live in. It's a 1-bedroom, it's everything. I was just like, so, like, and it was a good, reasonable price. I'm just like, wow, like, I was just super happy about it. So I got scammed, but my family gave me the money back. And a few days later, like I was saying, I received a phone call, some random phone call. I thought it was so weird. I don't know how this person got my number, but they told me that they had an apartment available. So it might have been one of those things that where my mom like signed up for, that keeps her updated on any available apartments in LA. I don't know, but they called me, and when they called me, I was just like kind of thrown off, but I was like, you know what, I'll check it out. But I'm going to be smart this time. I'm going to make sure, everything is legit. So I went and I checked it out, and the apartment was amazing. I was like, what? I like it. It was in an area that I really liked as well, North Hollywood. I really wanted to live in North Hollywood because it was closer to a lot of things. I lived in Woodland Hills before. It was so much farther. Took like an hour or over an hour to get just about everywhere. North Hollywood was closer to a lot of the sets that I work on. So I just really wanted to live there. And it was in my price range as well. So I was just like, what? This sounds too good to be true. So I'm going to just, fall back and talk to God about this time. Which I did. And God didn't give me anything to, feel like it was anything to worry about. So I just let God move, and God moved. He did. He moved in this whole situation. The manager called me, said I got approved. I even got approved for a lower deposit, security deposit, and everything just worked out. And I was able to pay and move in right away. Now I'm living here. And it's such amazing just having my own place and just the freedom to just create all the things that I want to create. Don't have to worry about, being distracted or whatever. Like, I just feel like it's just amazing how God works. And even though I was only homeless for like 11 days, those 11 days, so much stuff had happened, and God is just so amazing for just looking back at that situation. I'm just like, wow, like He brought me out of that situation. Wow, like I got scammed, but I was still able to move into my apartment. Actually wasn't that week, but like a week later, I was able to move into my apartment. How many people can say that they can get scammed out of money and get that money replaced just like that? God is good. God is so amazing. I just felt like all that stuff had to happen to me for me to appreciate God more. And not that I didn't appreciate God, but sometimes He has to remind us He is God. I am God. That's how it is. And it's like, He's enough. God is enough. When we're going through something, we don't need to feel like we have to keep our composure or control everything that's going around us. Like, God is God. He can control it all. He can take care of it all on His own. He doesn't need your help. So I needed to go through that to understand that God is God. He doesn't need me. And the more and more I try to take control of a situation I'm going through, the more I'm digging deeper holes for myself. And I'm basically burying myself in a ditch. Because I don't trust God enough to take care of the situation. So I feel like everything happened and it was supposed to happen, regardless of the fact that I had free will, and I could have easily walked away when the lady asked me for money. I could have been like, no, I don't trust this. But at the moment I was so desperate, and she just seemed like such a genuine person. I didn't think she would do something like that. But that's the whole purpose of people, bad people out there. They may come off, a certain way, but you really gotta, watch yourself and always take the time out to talk to God about a situation. Ask Him for His advice. Ask Him if you're making the right decision, because He'll give you the discernment that you need. And He gave it to me, but I didn't realize what I had done until it was too late. So I'm repping my little Kylie Love sweatshirt, because throughout that whole situation I really was considering going back home. It's gonna take my little bit of money that I had, and I was gonna go back home, because I was just like, home is always gonna be there, and I feel like I'm just stressed out more here. I felt like I wasn't supposed to be here. I'm like, God, are you telling me I need to go home? Because it's just too much going on right now. But obviously God wasn't telling me to go home. God kept me here, and I'm just so grateful for all the people that God used to keep me grounded while I was going through that season and going through that difficult time period. So grateful for God and everything that He does for me, and He's just so gracious, and God is so good, y'all. God is good. So if you're thinking about moving out here to LA, just make sure that y'all have a savings, y'all, because it can be hard out here. But even the fact that I had the money, I still wasn't able to find an apartment because of my dog or whatever. So make sure, like I said, y'all do y'all research. And always depend on God and just getting His advice on a situation, whether or not it's the right one for you. So don't do anything and make any sudden decisions without speaking to God first. But thank you guys for watching. Bye.